Digimon Up, the newest Digimon mobile game which we're hoping is releasing in the next few months, has been showing off more and more of the game and slowly over time has been dividing the Digimon fanbase. Some, like me, really looking forward to it, and others, a significant amount, starting to criticize the game before it's out, for valid and some slightly interesting reasons. So in today's video, I'm going to try and bridge the gap, talk about things that I think could be better, and maybe explain or at least contextualize criticism that people have of the game to hopefully try and unite the fanbase a little bit. What is up, digital companions? My name is Karn EX and welcome back to the Digimon Up situation is crazy. Yeah, Digimon Up, coming hopefully soon. Bandai, if you want to hook your boy up, I'd appreciate it. But it's starting to draw ire on social media because of some perceived controversies. I want to start with what I think is the biggest one and the most valid criticism, its inability to be pre-registered or downloaded in future in Brazil. Brazilian law has cracked down on microtransactions, specifically microtransactions leveled at kids. And yeah, I'm in favor of this. I don't think kids should have easy access to loot boxes. I mean, I don't think kids under a certain age should even have smartphones, but that's what it is. This has seemingly led to the game not being available in Brazil, despite having a Portuguese language option. Although, of course, this is a Portuguese language option, not a Brazilian Portuguese language option, but truthfully, I don't know the intricacies of the differences between the two. I absolutely get why Brazilian fans are not happy about this. They're Digimon fans. Latin America is one of the biggest communities in Digimon, and it feels like a bit of a spit in the face to not provide the game there. But like I say, Bandai's not doing it just because they hate Brazil or anything. It is because seemingly of these gacha laws. Personally, in my opinion, the easiest fix for this, and I don't know why they aren't doing this, is just making the game 18+ in Brazil. I heavily doubt they're ever going to remove the microtransactions in Brazil because they want to make more money. So to me, that would be the easiest way to do it. Just make it an 18+ game. The game is 3+, I believe, in most territories, which, yeah, okay. But I think that's our easiest solution. Make the game 18+ in Brazil rather than just keeping out a huge chunk of the fandom, which could be giving you money. I think criticism like that is 100% valid, and I think a lot of people are doing it in a very respectful way. Obviously, you're always going to get people being very aggressive, but I think that comes from passion. It's not all just negative, you know? There is a very valid reason to want this to happen, and I also think people on the other side saying, oh, Brazil are whiners, they're complaining, are not helping anything at all. You're just creating more of a big divide in the fandom. The other thing that I do get the point of is them seeming to confirm that each Digi-Egg in the game of partner Digimon only has one line. So for Agumon, as we've seen, it's just Agumon, Greymon, Metal Greymon, and War Greymon, hopefully Omnimon in some variety at some point, but then when you get to Mega, you can start a new partner Digi-Egg from the beginning. So this is sort of Vpet-y, right? In as much that you're training up through to Mega and then you reset, kind of like a death mechanic, but not. But obviously the big thing it's missing to make it like Vpets is branching evolution lines, so maybe having a Koromon which can become Agumon or Betamon like in the original Digital Monster Vpet, and then on from there. Here's the thing though, Digimon Up never claimed to be a Vpet simulator. I think when we first saw the trailer, that's what a lot of us just assumed it was, a mobile game version of a Vpet. They've actually never advertised the game as that. So I can't really be mad at Digimon Up for this because they never claimed it to be what a lot of fans were hoping it would be. Now, would it be great if it was? Of course, but you can't really get mad at something for not being something we made up. We can hope for more, of course, but if the game never set out to be a virtual pet simulator, I don't know if I can be mad at that. What it's actually starting to remind me of specifically is not virtual pet toys, but Digivice toys, and I'll talk more about this in a little minute. But growing up, I didn't play the Vpet toys, I played the Digivice toys. There wasn't really branching evolution on those. I mean, on the D3 toys, of course, you had the different armored Digi-Eggs, but it was more like an adventure with your Digimon, which we've seen in the Color Evolution toys recently. Not really having feeding or poop, and certainly not death mechanics like the Vpets, but they were still a popular toy, a very popular toy, I would say. I mean, growing up, like I say, I knew way more people with Digivice toys than I ever saw Digimon virtual pets. So I think that's what Digimon Up is doing. It's more of a Digivice style toy, which we actually see in the game itself, because you have this kind of like blank Digivice, which they've showed off, which you can then equip parts of other Digivices from other seasons. The Adventure Digivice, 0, 2, and onwards, and I'm actually really surprised to see how many seasons of Digivices we've already got that are going to be in the game. In addition to the Hyper Colosseum cards, which they've brought into the game as things that you can gacha pull, I guess, or summon, but function as upgrades for your Digimon, which reminds me specifically of the D-Arc toy, where you could card slash to augment your Digimon in battle. And recently they announced their new pre-registration goals, having smashed the the 500,000 for Numemon, which caused a lot more contention because for 600,000 we can get 1,000 bits, which are presumably the currency we use to enter battles that we've seen before. 800,000 we get a set of Patron pajamas for our avatar, which is customizable, I remind you, and the million goal is Taichi, Yagami, and Agumon. Just fun because it's English media calling him Yagami, not Kamiya. This made a lot of people mad. Ugh, it's adventure pandering again. And I get it, right? Adventure is very oversold. It's the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers of Digimon. They keep churning it out for that nostalgia bucks, but unfortunately it kind of works. We've seen in the fiscal reports from Toei that Digimon Adventure specifically, and then on a smaller scale, Digimon Beat Break and other Digimon anime, are still big for them. Digimon Adventure undeniably sells, and it's unfortunate. If you don't like Adventure, if you're sick of it, I get it. But it is going to bring in that more casual audience, which are going to bring money with them. The reason that Hasbro and Bandai before them keep selling Mighty Morphin Power Rangers stuff is that no matter how badly they handle the franchise, they're at least going to make a little more money off another version of the Morpher or the Megazord, and it's kind of the same thing here. Most people aware of Digimon know it from Digimon Adventure and Digimon the movie, so those are always going to bring in the more casual lapsed fans with money. However, I do think it's a little bit over-egging the pudding to say that that's all that Digimon Up is doing, because like I say, they're bringing in the Hyper Colosseum card game, which is more of a dedicated fan nostalgia and even of course kind of factored into Digimon Tamers somewhat, and they've already showed that a bunch of Digivices from different seasons are going to be available, as well as of course Digimon from a bunch of seasons we've seen at least through to Tamers, and I heavily doubt if we've got Digivices shown from day one, including the Data Squad, Frontier, and Cross Wars Digivices, that we're not going to get Digimon through the rollout for them. I think we just have to accept that Digimon Adventure is the safe money, the foundational money. And yeah, nostalgia is always going to be diminishing returns, but until that day that it completely makes no money, it's the bedrock. But really, in recent years, they have taken so many more risks with Digimon. Digimon Survive, admittedly kind of a reboot of Adventure, then moving forward from there, we had Ghost Game, a rapid departure. Digimon Story Time Stranger, which yes, still tapped into a little bit of adventure nostalgia, but also featured a bunch of Digimon, new ones we haven't seen in games before. And even when they had the anime song packs, it wasn't just adventure songs, it was a bunch of seasons. At the end of the day, on a business level, they'll stop milking adventure when it stops working. If you can just square away that part of your brain and say, okay, there's always going to be adventure stuff, it helps you start to appreciate what isn't just adventure. Like I say, man, look at the Digivices. They are not just doing adventure here. This is more like an anime send-up game. So yes, they're front-ending adventure, but this is hardly a bad thing. It brings fans in, and we see from Front Street these Digivices are going to be from these seasons, so I would expect after Tamers we're going to get like Frontier Spirits, maybe Shoutmon, Ballistamon, Digimon like that, and indeed even the Data Squad evolutions. And hypothetically, because this is a multiplayer game, at least somewhat from what we can see, limiting it to one evolution line, especially when you're looking at anime stuff, kind of makes balancing a little easier. If every egg's got one through line, then Digimon that could branch have less variability, meaning that Digimon like the Spirits, which basically have one through line, and some of them don't even have like designated rookies or anything, would be more viable competitively. Again, potentially that's a hypothetical. So while I get the adventure criticism, I absolutely do, I think people are taking pre-registration as being a indication of how the entire game is going to be, but I don't think that's what we've got to worry about. The Tamer customization shows they're not leaning just into adventure with costumes and hair, as they're now teasing this Taichi and Agumon. I don't know whether this is going to be like a special Agumon that comes with Taichi, or this is just an avatar thing, which I think it could be. This Taichi and Agumon could just be a costume, and you just get an Agumon attached to your costume kind of thing, which might be cool if we then get like Davis, Takato, Takuya, etc. It's a tough thing to straddle as the franchise, but I also want to say they've also been pretty clear about the adventure inspiration from day one too. The very first teaser we got for Digimon Up before Digimon Con, the Digimon sprites running around on the beach, was set to Butterfly. I do think they've been incredibly transparent from day one that this is heavily anime inspired. They showed off a bunch of anime partners, they showed the Digivices in the initial trailer, and had Butterfly there. While you may not personally want it, I don't think this is something they've buried at all. They've been very up on Front Street about it. Speaking of those sprites, I absolutely agree with the criticism that some sprites are better than others. Agumon and Gabumon look great. Armadillomon's a little rough. Terriermon Assistant's got a lollipop head, but I think they have time to fix these things, and maybe they'll make it better going forward, but also, at least we have some nice sprite art, but yeah, I'd really love them to work on that more going forward. And then there's been some criticisms of the depth. The battles look quite simplistic, and they're stressing that you can do it as auto battle. I don't mind that, to be honest with you. I always kind of skip over the battles in Vpet toys anyway, but I'd love to see more of this battle system, especially online battles, and I really hope Bandai lets me. Hashtag Karn for Digimon Up. So yeah, I definitely think it's a mixed bag, but for me, I'm always just looking for more Digimon stuff. I've lived through like 2 or 3 Digimon droughts now, some of them because of where I live, like in the UK, I don't think we got Frontier or maybe even Data Squad, and then there was a big gap until Fusion, which then didn't fully finish getting dubbed. I've sat through the drought between kind of the Vital Bracelet launch and its death and into finally Time Stranger getting announced, which was a rough year or so, and some other times in between. For me though, I just love Digimon, so it's super hard for me to be incredibly negative until a piece of media really lets me down. We started this year only expecting one mobile game, Digimon Elysian, so to me, anything Digimon Up is just a bonus. If the game's good, great. If I enjoy playing it every day, great. If I don't and fall off it in a few weeks or a few months, fine. I don't have the gacha gene. I don't have that thing where I want to pull, because frankly I can't afford it, but also I just don't get rewarded in that way. I'm more of a physical collector than a digital one, and I do see the difference. So for me, I'm probably going to be entirely free to play on Digimon Up. Personally, I hope that the Bandai trend doesn't continue of them cancelling live service games for Digimon very early in, and instead at least find a way, if they are going to stop service for it, to leave us an offline mode, or maybe even ideally one that lets us do peer-to-peer multiplayer when the game is shut down. But also Digimon Up doesn't seem like it needs a lot of money to justify its existence. It's sprite-based, it's more of a simplistic game, and you know, there are still those Vpet elements, like there's feeding and training we see Gabumon doing, so I think there's going to be something there. But my biggest hope, my biggest criticism is going to be if they don't include a home screen widget like Eirias had. Also, we have our own options. We can kind of take our own life into our own hands. There are tons of amazing fan projects that emulate and simulate the Vpet experience. I've really loved Digital Tamers and Digital Tamers 2 by Dragonrod. I know a lot of people really like NetDriver. I've not really given that a go yet. There's Digitap Unoff, which just came out, and a bunch of other things like emulated versions of the Digivice toys, if that's your bag. I personally, to get my Vpet fix on my phone or PC, I'm always going to go for Digital Tamers 2, and I'll probably continue to. On the tail end here, I do want to go over the article that they put on Twitter on May 26th after Terriermon Assistance Lab. A lot of stuff we've already seen, like I say, the evolution line for Agumon, the partner Digimon that are going to be in here to start the game off with, the fact that you can have 1 partner Digimon and 5 support Digimon on your team in battle, and that the cards will let you do skills in the game. But yeah, this like default Digivice design I actually really like, and I like the way you can equip different skins to it of the different Digivices. And again, from day one, they're showing off 7 seasons worth of Digivices. I think that's pretty cool, though I don't know whether we're going to get Digivices outside of the main protagonists of the shows. They showed off Tamer customization, and they are leading with Geckomon and Numemon showing the pre-registration bonuses. So again, we have got Geckomon from the most recent season of Digimon anime that's going to be, I think, a support Digimon in this game because we pre-registered from the off. Ultimately, I think the mixed bag is fair. There are absolutely things to criticize and there are things to love, but I do think we tend to really lead with negativity in this fandom sometimes and don't really appreciate all of the nuance to things. Like, the game isn't even out yet, and if it proves to be a big adventure specifically nostalgia milking, sure, that sucks, but it actually looks to me, if you actually read and look through all the details, a lot of this is focusing on other Digimon, and they never promised to be a Vpet simulator. To me, this feels like a Digivice toy simulator, which I'm okay with. Really, it's just going to come down to whether or not you actually enjoy the game when it's out, and whether you can be bothered putting time into it if it doesn't have enough rewarding gameplay for you. But for me, something to do once a day with Digimon, indeed another Digimon game to stream and talk to you guys, it's a bonus. They could make a Digimon Fortnite collab and I'd play it because I just love this franchise so much. So of course, I'm very blinkered in that respect. I think we need to stop telling people what they can and can't enjoy. So if you don't think it looks good and other people do, let them enjoy it, and vice versa. If someone's critical of the game, it's not the end of the world. Just go, they're not into it. It doesn't affect you. So just enjoy the game. If you enjoy it, that's fine. I do think we get a little bit too obsessed and a little bit too negative in both directions. Intense negativity, ignoring things they're actually trying to do that are good, and also almost a toxic positivity where no criticism is allowed. So let me know your thoughts in the comments down below on Digimon Up. Are you looking forward to it? Are you not? Both are valid. I'm of course going to be checking it out the second I can because I'm actually really excited for it, just because again, I wasn't expecting Elysian till later in the year anyway, so having a new piece of Digimon media to try out is always exciting for me. Thank you to my Sovereign, ZDK14 and Jeremy Babineau, and everyone else who supports me over on patreon.com/Karn EX, and my YouTube channel members here on YouTube. You guys are amazing. I'll see you next time when we go digital. Bye bye.